How you doing?
How you going?
Good, how are you guys? Thought I was gonna flake again, huh?
No. It's all good. It's all good.
We had full trust in you, sir, and thank you so much for spending your time to talk to us, especially seeing as it's Thanksgiving for today for you guys, right?
Is it?
But we're not doing. We're just here, like me and my wife and Jason from the band. We're just having a small Thanksgiving. It's
Nice.
actually, I mean, they turned it around to make it a pleasant sounding holiday. It's actually like Indian killing looking holiday. You know what I mean? The whole history of the United States. They make it, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know how it is. It's like Valentine's Day, all hearts and shit, is actually the day that commemorates when the fucking American Railroad workers strike back in the day when they were indentured servants and they all got a bunch of them got killed. That's like Valentine's Day. So every ugly thing that happens, they turn it into a nice, pleasant holiday.
It does seem to be that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And what about Christmas? And all that stuff.
Pagan festival.
25th of December. Oh man, that goes way, way back. That date, all the way back to like the sun god and shit.
Oh, well, I know. I just want to say why I can remember. Welcome to Facing the Crowd podcast.
Thank you very much.
You're speaking to Perks and Hobo.
Okay.
We are honored to have you on, sir.
Cool. Did you guys get a chance to listen to the new record?
We just listened to the single that we could get on the Apple thing on the way over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great, mate.
I should have had Claire. I should have had Claire send you the whole record, but I can. I will.
Oh, please do. We'd love
awesome,
to hear it.
Yeah.
It's great, mate. Like
very catchy.
Your riffs are just phenomenal. I mean, how'd you come up with that shit, man?
Oh man, you know what? We just love to play. Like right. The reason I was like 5 minutes late is because we got into this jam. Me and my wife playing bass. We just set this little setup in the living room. Because Jason's here down from Canada for the weekend, and so he brought his recording stuff. So we're just working on riffs. And when you're jamming, sometimes they come.
I love the fact that we're actually interrupting the obsessed jamming on riffs.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I was supposed to be watching the clock. We just got a little bit carried away.
Yeah.
The riff compels you.
Yeah, that's right.
We do.
So you guys in the UK, obviously, right?
The what, sorry?
You guys are in the UK, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
yeah, we're about 45 minutes from London.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yes, on the coast, South End, it's called. I don't know if you've heard of it, but yeah. It's all good, mate. I'll just saying about London. I actually saw the Obsessed play the Desert Fest 2018. I was there. I think you played just before Graveyard, and I saw I Hate God as well. The same night.
Right. Wow.
That was a bloody good gig, mate. In Coco. Do you remember Coco? The venue.
Thank you. Which venue was it? Was that the Underworld?
When you played at Coco, yeah.
At Coco, yeah.
It was that gig.
That was a fucking fun. Oh yeah, that's right. We did support Graveyard. That's right. Yeah, that place was unreal, man. That was really nice gig.
Yeah.
Big old ballroom. Yeah.
The wicked building as well, isn't it? Coco. Yeah.
I got a chance to really dig into Graveyard. We played with them again last summer or last spring, and I got a chance to check them out for without having to pack gear, roll gear. They're pretty fucking amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah,
for doing their thing, that bluesy thing, they got it down.
So if we could totally rewind, we always ask the people that come on the same question, what was the first gig you ever went to where you just paid some money to actually go and see a band? If you can remember who that was, I know it's probably way back.
The first show that I paid for?
Yeah, you paid to go and watch someone first ever time.
That was probably my very first show. Was my neighbor. She was about 7 years older than me, and I was 14, I think. And she took me. We bought her tickets. She took me to see the James Gang at the Shady Grove, Maryland. This theater that was in the round, so the stage would turn slowly. But it was right after Joe Walsh had left, so they were supporting the record "Straight Shooter," which it's a really cool record, man. It's I love a couple songs out of the record. It has a lot of good memories. That was my very first show. My second show was Black Sabbath. Somewhere after they were already playing stuff off Masters of Reality, so it was Black Sabbath. And they were supported by Edgar Winter's White Trash with Rick Derringer. Okay, so that was in 73 maybe. So my next show after that was Alice Cooper on the Killer Tour.
Oh man!
They were supported by Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, which was Mitch Ryder in Detroit. The guitar player was Steve Hunter. You know, later on to become the famous duo on Lou Reed's thing, Rock and Roll Animal. It's Steve Hunter and Dick Wagner, right? Steve Hunter's band, and then my next show after that was fucking. This is a monumental. It was Louis Cole on the Secret Treaties tour, supported by Nazareth, supporting Razmanaz. That show blew me away. I already loved Louis Cole, but man, Nazareth, the fucking Scottish Bombers. I mean, the most, back in those days, they were like, I mean, they weren't that mainstream, but they were fucking hard fucking hitting. And at that show, I saw some dude walk by me, and he had a military cap on, and he had home written with a ballpoint pen, ZZ Top. And I was like, what's ZZ Top? Nobody even knew who that was. So this dude was like the first dude I ever saw with anything ZZ Top hand penciled into his hat. So you got to figure whatever year that was. I think they probably just come out with, I don't know what year Rio Grande Mud came out, their second record, but I would imagine it's early 70s, right?
That's a good spin-off of some seriously good gigs there.
Yeah, I know. I'm super lucky.
For many years, they never toured outside Texas. I believe they wouldn't leave Texas, right?
Right. I don't know.
I don't think they need to. I think they had the whole of Texas watching them at every gig.
Chase Hombre, when they had the song about the whorehouse. Got a lot of nice girls. What's that song? LaGrange.
That's it.
Yeah. That was their hit, right? Third record.
Yeah. That was kind of like their breakthrough, I suppose.
Now they're a fucking disco band, practically.
Yeah.
Almost.
I've never got to see them. I've always wanted to, but I mean, they don't come. They hardly ever come over here. So It's
a shame about Dusty Hill, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't miss a beat though. They're back at it. Dude's got a long beard and everything.
Yeah, that's right. Was it
his son or something took over? I can't. Was it his?
Well, how did he die?
No, was it his son that took over, or was it like a guitar tech or something?
No, I don't know.
I think I'm not really sure. I can't remember actually. It might have been a heart attack, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my father had the Eliminator album. You know, the one that was massive on MTV. That was that. That's just been drilled into me when I was younger. I still love that album now.
His Legs off that song.
Legs. Give Me All Your Loving.
Yeah.
Sharp Dressed Man, I think's on it.
Oh, Sharp Dressed Man, that's great.
Fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. Even that there's one at the end called like TV Dinners, really slow one. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I love that one.
They're very cool, man. I always like the way that he layered his guitars, like he'd play the riff and then he'd like do like a harmony of a fifth, just on a part of the riff, hammering on there. Like first record, man, the first record is so good. It's raw, but really great. Yeah, it's ZZ Top. All right.
Amazing band. What about the first gig you ever played?
First gig I ever played.
What was that like?
I got asked to sing The Rover by Led Zeppelin by this kind of cover band that played at the junior high school. And then my first professional gig, we had the Obsessed together already. We had another guitar player. We were kind of weird. We were like, we'd play like a few rock and roll covers, but we were still doing originals. Like Decimation was still back. I had Decimation and Blind Lightning and stuff back then. But started dating this girl. She was a bartender at this little bar in DC. Right. It was like a wine cellar, this bar with a little stage. It was underneath this gigantic fucking like meat market, like pickup joint, huge. They do wet t-shirt concerts and all this shit, right? So she goes, go in there about 5:30. The owner's gonna be setting up the chairs. It's like an ex outlaw motorcycle gang dude that she knew because she had a bar there. So I went down there with them and hauled ass down there in my van. I had this really nice our press kit, you didn't have electronic press kits in those days. It was all on paper, So I had a little folder. I went in there presented myself to the dude, and he says, okay, I'll give you a shot, but you're gonna have to play 3 45-minute sets.
Whoa.
Right. So we had to put that together. I mean, we played a pretty good mixture of like really eclectic covers. Like we would do Dead Boys, Caught with Meat in Your Mouth. We're Dead Boys, Sonic Producers, and then we would play like Search and Destroy. We play Sweet Little 16, our version. We play Your Blues, and then we play a bunch of originals. Yeah, but we didn't have enough material at that time to play 3 45-minute sets of originals. But that was like right during the punk era, because I remember Wendell Blow, the bass player for Iron Cross, he would come down because he liked our originals, but they fucking hated when we played our punk rock covers. He's a hardcore DC punk, so you couldn't stand it, but they were still there. yelling out for decimation and shit. So, those are pretty wild days.
Wow.
Yeah,
3 45-minute sets straight away.
I mean,
That's
there's
pressure, isn't it?
there's not many bands who can even do that like after like 4 or 5 albums, like have
Yeah.
enough great material to play.
I mean, you
That's
figure the
long.
guy's not really, the guy might say he's selling music, but he's really selling alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
And
course.
it's there to just get people to drink, basically.
Did it go well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we cemented ourselves in with this dude, so then we would get pretty regular slots, and it got to be a little tedious after a while, because we weren't making much money on a Wednesday night, 3 45-minute sets. Everybody's got to work in the morning. One time I made the mistake of tripping. That's I just don't like that. I don't like to be tripping really and try to do a professional gig. That was hard. It was hard.
Tripping out. What set am I on?
Right, everything sounds out of tune.
How funny.
What about when you joined St. Vitus and you recorded Born Too Late album? How was that like, just coming into that fold and recording with those guys? I mean, obviously a long time ago, but that's like a cult classic album now, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing story. Actually, the guys from SST, like SST signed St. Vitus, and that was like really like weird. That was kind of a weird thing for them to do. They were like going for like, they wanted to get off of like the punk thing and to branch their label out or whatever, I guess. So they signed St. Vitus, and St. Vitus had the old singer. So Ian Mackay was the one who told me. He said, "Man, you should really check out this band from California, St. Vitus. They're on SST." He said, "It's right up your alley. Kind of a Sabbathy type band, So I got the first record, and I totally dug it. Rieger's voice was hard to get used to, but I totally dug it. So they're on tour now. They're on tour with this band, The Brood, which was a drummer for Suicidal's project band. So they come through. They're supposed to be playing in Baltimore. So for some reason, so we all go down there to see them. So for some reason, it's a long story involved with them, but they left their singer behind by accident, and they got all screwed up, so they didn't make the show. But they did pull into town, and they needed a place to crash. And so one of my friends took them over to his place. And while they were there, he played them The Obsessed. Right. So then on their makeup show, they came back through. They played some place in DC, and this time they were able to get there. We went down to see him. The singer, at the end of the night, the singer said, "Listen, I'm planning on leaving. Man, you would be the perfect fucking guy to replace me because you kind of sound like Ozzy, got that kind of Sabbath feel, So I was into that idea because I was ready. I was stagnating, out in Maryland. I wanted to get the fuck out. So I was ready to join St. Vitus, But at the time, I was coming off my glam rock phase. I still had like a little bit of kind of a pineapple haircut, And Chandler said, you look like So I was like, I told him, I said, "Believe me, man, that was just a phase. I'm ready to get down and dirty." But he kind of like put me off, And so like I really wasn't taking no for an answer. Like I already made up my mind. I was doing St. Vitus. I was going to move to California. So I'm starting this kind of process of kind of just hammering him for an answer. Yes or no, yes or no. And finally, I was outside and I saw the geese flying in the V. I was like, "That's it, man. I'm just moving to LA." So basically I told him I'm coming out there no matter what. So I went out there, I had money saved up. So I bought a vehicle, got a job. And, basically I took my tuner out with me because I knew from experience that the Obsessed, we tune a half step down from standard for my voice. Like in standard, like I just can't hit what I want to hit, So I took my strobe tuner out there with me and I put little pieces of tape so those guys would know where to tune. I said, "If you don't mind for my audition, would you mind tuning the half step down? The guitar and bass, it fits in my range better." So I got him to do that, but it was, it was like pulling teeth. I had to they're pretty primitive characters. So once I did that, though, it all fell into place. And what people don't know about, so we rehearsed like 6 days a week at this dude. One of their friends had this little shed in the backyard, small PA, this little shed, and like we would fill it up with beer cans, like it was like knee deep in Budweiser cans. But I will say this: a lot of people don't realize is I didn't write much of those lyrics at all. Chandler wrote "Born Too Late," the whole song, lyrics and everything. He wrote "Dying Inside," but I can identify with those songs. So, in order for me to sing those songs, I had to be able to identify the songs, which I did. And that's why that I wasn't on Children of Doom, because I just didn't like the material. And, at that time, things were kind of falling apart a little bit with personalities and all. But people always think that I wrote the lyrics Born Too Late or that I wrote Dying Inside, but I didn't. But we walked the walk, though, that's for sure.
So you went straight in and was straight into like 6 days rehearsal sort of thing. As soon as you got to California, you met up with them, and it just was like 6 days rehearsing straight away, repeatedly until you started playing.
We were a fucking well-oiled machine. This was like 1987, so we were like a well-oiled machine. And we got a gig with our first tour was with Mentors because they were on Metal Blade, right? So they said, "Hey, you guys want the SST dudes?" Were like, "Do you want to tour with Mentors?" And we were like, "Fuck yeah, that'd be great," because we already knew them. El Duce was a kind of a local guy. Like he'd come around and sit around in your apartment and drink all your beer and shit until you had to kick him out. But so we went on tour with the Mentors, and they were fucking up constantly because they were completely loose in every way. Like they wouldn't even they get paid and they wouldn't even consider money for gas to the next gig. They wouldn't even consider that. They would just immediately start partying. like a couple of times they miss shows, and we'd get to the promoter would be like, "Well, where are they?" We'd like, "I don't know. Can you guys play an extra set? I'll give you another $200." We would. So a couple of nights we had to play longer because Mentors didn't even make it. But all in all, we were like a machine, man. It's like, and and that was the early days. I mean, when I joined that band, I knew there wasn't going to be any money. I joined it because I love the music, and I full knew we were going to struggle. I was ready to struggle, man. Yeah, because that's the music we love, and it gave me the feeling that music, gives me the feeling like of the no other,
Just ready to get in the trenches, just to play that music.
Play that music, man.
Good,
I moved to DC, moved out to LA, started working. I answered an ad for a construction job, and I became the laborer, but I got real lucky because it was between me and this other dude, and then when the other dude went to shake the dude's hand, it was, between me and him, the boss, he gave him kind of a limp fish, and I shook his hand, and he told me later, he said, "I hired you on the strength of your handshake," because that dude handed me a limp fish, because I couldn't tell, you guys were right equal, but man, you shook my hand like a man, so I got the gig. And it turns out that they were building a $4.4 million restaurant by gutting. So this dude was like, suddenly I was into this big restaurant construction company, like not like rinky-dink shit, like $4 million restaurants, cherry wood panels, 4 types of rye whiskey at the bar, like the whole. So it was pretty cool. So after a little while, this guy's a French Canadian dude, my boss, right? So after a little while, he's like going, "Man, y'all coming around that corner pretty fast." Me and the other laborer, this Mexican dude that I met, and he was like way skilled, but he was a total, like, he'd been in prison. He was messed up in his mind, but he liked me and I liked him. So like we were kicking ass, The boss was like, "Man, every time I see you guys, you're like moving pretty fast." He goes, "Can you get me some dangerous drugs?" So after he broke that ice with us, then that's all I did from then on. All I did was score drugs after that. I didn't have to work anymore. He'd pay me an 8-hour day, give me gas, and give me the money for the drugs, and I'd go to San Diego, score the drugs, and come back. That was my new job.
Amazing.
Yeah, man.
That was pretty fucking cool. I was making a lot of money, man. But when that job moved to San Francisco, Vitus was still in LA, and so I was like, well, I don't want to quit. But I was making so much money, so I'll just fly to San Francisco, live there, and fly back for rehearsals. But it was, that was, I don't know, the wheels were falling off the wagon kind of at that point, and that's right around that time is when I left.
Yeah,
I quit the job and stayed with Vitus, but writing was on the wall for a minute there with Vitus. But Vitus was my biggest fan. Vitus took me, to the places I'd never been before. Vitus was like, man, I love that band. That band was instrumental in building my whole trip, and like, unfortunately, David, there was professional jealousy with David right out of the gate because I played guitar.
Mhm.
Because the bass player, Mark Adams, wanted me to play guitar in Vitus, which I did. I did play guitar briefly. It's in the documentary. You can see some shots of me playing guitar in St. Vitus. I'd sing a couple songs, like 5 songs, then I'd pick up the guitar, play a couple of Mournful Cries, and then I'd put it down and sing some more. I thought it was heavier than hell, but some dude in America, some drunk guy, came up to me after the show, and Chandler was standing right next to me talking to somebody else, and this guy was like, says, "Man, you smoke Chandler on guitar," and it was so tactless with this guy. It was just so. I never wanted to sing. I didn't want to play guitar in a band anymore after that. Fuck it, I'm just going to be singing. This is, I don't need this drama. Like David was already weird about it, so that's why David would never play anything off Mournful Cries except maybe the Troll. But yeah. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, he didn't realize that I had his back the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Like I told him right before I got popped in Scandinavia, like we actually bonded the night before. We actually had a really fucking great talk. We really bonded. And I told him, I said, for the last 20 years, you haven't even realized it, but man, I got your back. When your cabinet's unplugged and you're going, what's up? I'm the one fucking plugging your cabinet in front of fucking 10,000 people. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Like I had his back. Like I was his dude. Like, but he never realized that, I don't know why.
No way, man.
He always felt like that I was against him or something. But I mean, I'm a team player,
Do you still talk to those guys much?
What's that?
Do you still talk to those guys much?
We every now and then. I mean, we asked him permission for the Vitus stuff in the documentary, and he was real cool about it. Mark died. That was when Mark died. That was really and it was really fucking sad. First of all, I mean, out of all the people in Vitus, I thought he was going to be the one that would have save the money, be successful. When when everything is said and done, he'd still be have his house and have all that shit. But actually, it wasn't that way, which is really fucking weird, man. Really weird. When he died, they were like penniless, like him and his sister. But I never got a chance to say goodbye to him. But I did write a song for him. The song's at the bottom of the bottle. I'm forever gone. So that's my tribute to Mark Adams. All right,
nice, mate.
Well, that's what you do, man. As a musician, right?
Because there's something he said, like on the bus one night, he said that my daddy told me that the song's at the bottom of the bottle. So he told me that was the inspiration, Yeah.
No, that's nice, mate. That's nice, and it's a great song as well. So
thank you. Mark, I mean, it sucks. It sucks when people die. Like it's strange because all these bass players in my career have died. John Black from Punctuate Equilibrium died. Dave Sherman died. Spirit Caravan. Bruce Falkenberg, bass player for Hidden Hand, died. Man, it's a lot.
Yeah, man.
It's hard, isn't it? Because like these people become like your family, don't they?
Yeah.
It's very hard. You spend so much time with them.
Sherman thing with Sherman was weird, man. It's like, things fell apart for him. He had a failed relationship, and then his mom put him on antidepressants. And after she put him on antidepressants, he shaved his head and hung himself.
It's the problem, isn't it, with these
that
pills?
worked, didn't it?
For a lot of people, these pills make you worse before you get better.
I think so. I mean, he never was like that, I wish he would have called me or whatever, but bottom line is that was really fucking heavy.
Yeah.
His mom's still alive. I mean, he was at his mom's house. So it's like I finally talked to her not that long ago, and she's cool. I mean, me and her are cool. Like I'm cool with everybody. Like but bad blood with any people in the past really at all. I mean, there's a couple people on the fringe that I fucking really dislike, but I'm putting all that in the book.
Nice. Are you writing a book?
I'm writing a book.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. People always say that, you got great stories, you should write a book. So I'm writing a book. So right now it's all the crazy adventures. So now I got to put the music in there.
Yeah,
mate.
Oh, brilliant.
So keep us posted on that.
Oh God,
I did. I actually, I bought the documentary off your link and watched it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, it's put together really well. I really enjoyed it.
You did? Cool.
Yeah, but you see yourself in sort of like laying down in back of trucks and stuff, still playing gigs and stuff. I mean, it's total commitment, isn't it? Like you'll do anything to play a show.
Yeah, and that was
to get to anywhere where you can, Obviously, obviously you do have.
That's all we could get, man. The pandemic, nobody had any vehicles, and nobody had
exactly.
Yeah,
you just did it.
Kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I told Shirley, I said maybe you should have put explain that because that's like bottom of the barrel, like traveling.
Yeah, but it just proves that you'll do it. I mean, you've obviously got other nicer ways to get around, but you still, when you have to, you will get in there and you will come out and you will play no matter what, which I thought was fucking awesome.
That's what we do. That's what we do. I mean, that's what I live for. I mean, basically, when you're playing rock and roll, you always got to get up and go. I mean, you can never really learn a trade. I mean, I've done a lot of jobs, but I've never had time in one place to like learn a trade, or something like that. Music. So the music is what I do. And my kids, like my daughter, I just went to see her in a play. She got the lead role of Sandy in that movie Grease.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So she's teenager in high school. I went down and saw that production, which is great. She's got a voice like an angel, but I would never try to tell her that she should she should make a career in rock and roll. If she wants to, I'll coach her as best I can. But if she doesn't want to, I'm not going to push it, man, because it's a fucking dirty fucking business.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
there's
yeah.
the footage of you and your children all playing together and singing together.
Yeah.
I mean, did you teach those guys how to play? Did they learn themselves?
A little bit, like a little bit. But my oldest son, like, man, he was fucking playing. I showed him that shit that very day that when me and him were just jamming at the end. Like, he's fucking amazing. He's writing. He basically just took it and ran with it. And my middle son is actually a good guitar player now. Like, he wasn't as much then, but now he picked up the guitar. Man, I've given him all guitars, amplifiers, microphones. Yeah, I gave my oldest son a Les Paul and an SG, like totally built amplifier. I gave my son a Dan Electro. I try to pamper I gave my daughter this cool little Teisco electric. Yeah, I mean,
It's nice, man. It's like I've told this story before, but I'll tell you anyway. But like, I'm a guitarist myself, and I've got like quite a few Les Pauls and things. And I was really looking forward to when I had my son. I was looking forward to handing them down to him.
right.
And then he only come out left-handed, didn't he?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's so strange because when the very first time I ever even touched the guitar, when I picked it up, I wanted to fret with my dominant hand, which is my right hand.
Yeah.
I write with my right hand. I'm right-handed. So, but when I picked the guitar up initially, what I wanted to do was fret with my right hand. And somebody, no, you hold it like this. And I thought that was strange at first. I mean, I get it now, but
It's weird.
What's that?
It's strange, isn't it? Because like you've got like I think like Kurt Cobain was like right-handed, but he taught himself to play left-handed because he used to watch videos of Jimi Hendrix. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Like however you start playing, that's how you're going to perfect your playing, I suppose.
Are we froze up?
Are we still there?
Scott Reeder,
Yeah.
he played left-handed, but he didn't restring the bass.
Right.
So he plays with the thinner strings on top, right? That was really strange. So when I'm showing him song, when we were showing each other songs, our headstocks, would be the same place.
Yeah.
His neck and my neck, normally the other guy's headstocks here, and you're, what I mean? That was strange. I don't see how he can play like that, man.
That's
How would he
crazy.
play that good with the bass upside down without restringing it?
Yeah, that's so weird. I can't even imagine that. That's just crazy.
Fucking mobbing it, man. Like, that's how he learned, Scott Kelly's the same way. Kelly's the same way from Neurosis. Like, he learned in this weird drop D tuning, and that's all he uses. Like, he'll transpose everything I would show him. Like, if I showed him something in a regular tuning, he would transpose it to his tuning. Like, that's what he does. I mean, that's what's so cool about playing with other people. What they bring to the table, like, they might think it's super simple to them, but to me, I'll be like, wow, strange timing. Steinmiller is like that,
Yeah.
Everybody says I write in weird timings, but I think that everybody has their own little groove, So when somebody's showing you their song, like, man, sometimes you really gotta get in the head to fucking hear the rhythm,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah. So tell us a bit about the new album then, like the recording process. What was that like?
Well, we added another guitar player, Jason from Sierra. Best decision I made all year for the last couple of years for sure. I mean, great guy, virtuoso. He's here jamming today. But basically, what it is he brings this recording stuff over, and me and him get together, and I show him my ideas. He shows me his ideas. We start stuff that I don't have arranged. I run it by him. We kick ideas, arrangement ideas together, put the words together, and finally get a demo of the tune. So we get demo tune. Then we send that to Brian, our drummer. We send it to the bass player. Okay, and then he writes tablature out for the bass player, and then basically we all meet at my house in the mountains. Everybody lives in a different state. So Chris lives in Florida, Brian lives in Maryland, Jason lives in Canada, and I live in New York State. So we all meet here. Everybody sleeps here, eat here, big family. Everybody lives here while we do what we're going to do, either rehearse songs to record or rehearse to go out on tour. And then we leave here, So that's what we did to start the process. And then we recorded it with Frank Marchand, who is the same cat that we did Sacred with. He's an amazing engineer, but he's also an amazing live sound guy. So like he's got it all. Like he's got a total command of the digital realm, total command of Pro Tools, but he's got a fucking orgy of analog shit. Les Pauls, 50 different snare drums, all like really super high quality. The $10,000 Norman for singing, all the best shit. That he's got the best of both worlds, like analog and digital, So he really knows what he's doing. He mixes in a big open room. He mixes loud, and but he knows what he's fucking doing, man. Like, so we'll sit in the control room usually. Okay, we'll all put on our headphones, and Brian, the drummer's sealed off. Drummer's sealed. He's all mic'd up in his own sealed room. No bleed, basically, hardly any bleed at all coming out of there. And then the bass amp is in a whole nother room. No bleed coming from that. And then the guitar amps are in another room too. So everything is like isolated. Then we wear headphones. And it sounds kind of rinky-dink in the headphones, but you realize all you're doing is going for a drum track. So we go through the songs while we can look at each other with headphones on until we get a good drum track. Once you got a good drum track, that's all you need. That's the basis. And after that, once we got the drum track, then we sit down and Chris, you going with the scratch tracks we just did or whatever, he'll lay down a bass line. And then once bass line's on there, then me and Jason start filling it up with rhythm guitars and doing the solos and stuff like that. And then when we get tired of doing guitar type stuff, after a day or two, I'll start singing. So we'll do some guitar and then sing some at the end of the day, whatever it might be. So we don't get burned out on doing one thing, But we'll just sit there right in the chair, sometimes with no headphones, and he'll play. He's got good enough monitors where we'll hear the monitors, and I'll just be sitting right next to Frank. He's running the fucking Pro Tools, just doing our thing right there. Have the pedal board right there, and just listen to the music coming through the speakers. I mean, it's the best way to do it, I think. The headphones can be weird sometimes. Headphones can be tricky because you're not really hearing. It has to be really good quality for them to translate what you're really hearing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, or what you're really playing, I should say.
Yeah.
So we did that, and he has a chalkboard, and he writes the titles of the songs down, and then he has little columns, vocals, rhythm, lead, and we just make check marks until they're done. We just check them off. So that's what we did.
Nice. Oh, we're very excited about hearing it. What's the release date over here?
February.
Yeah.
Not sure when in February. I think mid-February. But pre-order, we should be getting our vinyl any day. They shipped it to us already, so we'll have the records in hand. And I think it's cool, man. We found this weird French sculptor, Emile Brunel, and he immigrated or somehow migrated out this way to the Catskill Mountains, and he bought this little place and had a sculpture park, right? And basically, they're Native American inspired. He was really inspired by Native American culture as a French guy. That's why he came out in the first place. And so he built one of the statues is what we use for the cover.
That's very cool.
Like a Native American kind of reaching for the sky. And we went up there and shot some pictures of it. And the caretaker is this cool guy, this Russian guy married to an American lady. And this guy's got a green thumb, like he's got all these exotic plants like that are not native to up here. He's got in the sculpture garden. So when we decided to go up there, Shirley knew about it. We went up there and looked around. I was like, man, that's pretty cool, pretty wild, So we decided, okay, let's go up there and see if we can get a couple good pictures because, the name of the record is Gilded Sorrow. Like the initial idea was just, like a weeping angel, like a graveside angel. We just were like, man, it's just too fucking dark. It's too cliche and it's too fucking dark, We wanted to got really something to catch the eye. The cover's got to be fucking important, man. The cover is important, So when we found this sculpture park, we used that, came out really well. And then we sent once we picked out the design or the picture, we sent it to Jason's friend, Bill, who's an English guy, who's digital collage. And so he put it together, with his ideas and with our framework, put together an amazing cover. And then the pullout is is a full page collage that Brian did of stained glass, like our drummer. He does stained glass. So it's the Obsessed in like a mosaic, basically.
Amazing.
So that's like
Nice.
a beautiful picture of that. That's the one side, and the other side is lyrics.
Oh, brilliant.
So all in all, man, I think it came out good. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. Catskills, yeah. That's we
Yeah.
had the guy on here, Jesse from Kill Switch Engage. That's where he lives. Up the,
Oh yeah,
he lives in the Catskills, yeah.
You know what city?
I think he lives in Woodstock, doesn't he?
Woodstock, yeah.
Oh
Woodstock.
really? Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I'll ask around. Like I know people there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people move out here, Dr. No from Bad Brains out here, the whole like Grateful Dead, but mainly the band. That band, the band, whatever, from the day, Robbie Robertson and
the
all
band.
that. Yeah, not
man.
really a cup of tea, but I mean they're super famous out here because was their stomping grounds,
Of course, of course. There must still be a great music scene there, right?
There is, and thing about it is there's not many cool venues,
Right.
Like a lot of the cool venues like went under when the lockdown and all that shit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we lost a lot of pubs and stuff. because of that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like so out here right now, like there was two kind of small places to play. One of them still open. I went down and saw Heavy Temple there the other night. Sun Voyager, a couple good bands. There's bigger places like more commercial national act places, but there's a few places, but far and few between in this area,
Yeah.
All right.
But
What
New
about-
York City,
So what about how things changed in the way that all music seems to be promoted on social media, Instagram, Facebook and all that. How has that affected you, Wino, in any way for promoting gigs and even I know you just went through your recording process and that seems pretty organic and the old school way, but with a modern twist to it. But is it a pain for you that where everything's just gone digital, or is it you can deal with it?
well, that's a good question because, in my opinion, promoters have got super lazy. All they have to do is fucking put out a post on Facebook about the gig. People used to buy they'd buy a quarter page ad in a magazine or the local city paper. They'd take out a fucking ad in the city paper, and then have a team flyer the fuck out of places, go to bigger shows and put flyers out. I mean, so nowadays it's all social media. I mean, which is cool. I mean, it's cool. We've reached I didn't have a command of the social media thing in the early Obsessed days, up to pretty recently. But once we got Jason in the band, and then my wife also, they both grew up with computers. Like I didn't grow up with computers. Like we didn't have cell phones and stuff when I was a teenager and when I was in my youth. We didn't have nobody had a cell phone, nobody had a PC or personal computer. So, but those, Jason especially has a really good, he knows what to do. He knows where to post, when to post. And so that's really cool. So we've seen our numbers go up. I mean, I think it's the way of the future. I mean, the way of the future. It's the way. You know what I mean? The days of flyers.
You ain't going to change it back, are you? No one's going to change it back.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's still like when me and Shirley got married. I got the black envelopes and black paper. Our invitation. You'd get our invitation in the mail, snail mail, and it had a big blob of sealing wax with the big W on the fucking envelope. And we had, so it was cool. So you get this black envelope with this big
That's cool
blob like sealing wax with our, that's old school.
That is old school.
But more exciting when you get an invitation like that of a blob of wax on it, instead of just,
Bauer says
just like an email rather just an email saying our wedding and the date. It's shit in it.
You should see this. Like we had them all lined up for like literally melting the wax with the torch. I'd beat a blob on there and Shirley would go, next one. That's cool.
The only letters I get through the post these days are bills.
Yeah. That's something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to send out, a black envelope, just all black with the fucking big old fucking like medieval seal on it. Yeah. I mean, pretty good. I can't complain really about much, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So you're rolling with the internet. So what you're saying is You've accepted it, and we're rolling with it. And
I think you have to,
it's
don't
the
you?
way. It's
That's the
got to be
thing.
good
Yeah.
for like. I know you're saying promoters are getting lazy and stuff, but just to reach so many people with the tour dates and just one click is unreal, isn't it?
It's unreal. It's unreal. And you know, once we got a command of it, we saw our numbers go up. I mean, you know, that's how people. The worst thing in the world is somebody comes to your show and says, "Man, I didn't even find out about this gig until tonight." You know, people always tell me that. I'm like, well, okay, so what's the disconnect here? Is the person just out of it, or is the person not seeing what he needs to see? You know what I mean? And so that's involved your booking agent and the way you promote. You know, so we changed booking agents and we have management now. So, you know, as of about 2 weeks ago, we've got brand new management. We have a brand new American booking agent. So, I mean, we're looking to, you know, we want to hit it really hard when the record comes out, and we want to make as big a splash as possible.
You got to come to the UK.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
coming to
well,
the UK for sure. We're definitely coming to the UK, and I think I'm coming to the UK to do some acoustic shows too. We're
Amazing.
gonna tour, as much as they're going to let us tour, we're going to tour next year. You know,
Why not,
Yeah.
man?
let us. You know, if they don't fucking make you have like, you know, fucking some kind of, you know, anal swab for monkeypox or whatever, you know, then we'll be there. You know.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you as well, because obviously a lot of your solo stuff is kind of mostly acoustic. Do you write your solo stuff kind of in the same way as you write for the Obsessed? Like, I suppose what I'm trying to ask is, does a lot of the Obsessed stuff start off as acoustic riffs?
Some do just kind of out of necessity. Like if I have a riff, if I'm playing acoustic and I get a riff, you know, then I think a heavy riff, then I might, you know, learn it or record it with the acoustic, knowing that it's going to be a heavy song later. Like the stuff that I write just for the acoustic, I actually approach it a little bit as it's going to be an acoustic song.
Mm.
And the way I write it, I usually get a concept. I usually have a concept, like a slogan. Like I'm into slogans, you know, but like a concept, for example, like "Forever Gone" or, you know, the songs at the bottom of the bottle, whatever the concept is, and then I put a master riff to that concept, you know, master riff, and then I fill in the lyrics. If all of those three, lyrics, concept, and music, happen all at once, that's what I call the divine inspiration. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does sometimes. When you get that beam, and it's like the whole song right then and there. That's fucking magic, you know. But usually I'll be finessing the lyrics, maybe all the way up until the studio, possibly like one word, you know, changing one word or one line. I mean, I'll have a piece of paper all over around the mic, you know, if I'm taking notes. These days, you know, with the lockdown, the way things went, started to become more or less that we lived together, that we lived in the same state, and so we would rehearse 3 nights a week, and then we would take our new songs out on the road and road test them before we recorded them. That's what Spear Caravan used to do. We don't really have that luxury anymore. It's to be able to rehearse as a band, you know, 3 or 4 nights a week, and then do enough live show to take those songs out before we record them. So some stuff we rehearse, we write, rehearse, and then go into the studio without ever playing them live. Some stuff. But we do take some stuff out. Like we've been playing Daughter of an Echo. We've been playing It's Not Okay. We've been playing Stone Back to the Bomb Age. 2 of those are singles. You're gonna see that next single released at the end of this month. We're doing 3 singles. We released 3 singles. It's Not Okay, Bomb Age, and another song called Realize a Dream. So you know, yeah.
And it's all on the new label now, isn't it?
We're on Ripple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have issues with the other label, or did it just come to an end and just?
I don't think we sold enough records for Relapse. I don't think we did. And one of their prerequisites when they signed us, or when, you know, Rennie signed the Obsessed, you know, it was imperative that we would be able to go to Europe. Now, but we should have been able to go to Europe. But I wasn't allowed in Europe, even though I had a 5-year ban. It was 6 because Norwegians did all this fucking intentional fuckery by just filing everything late, and they turned a 5-year ban into a 6-year ban. So I was banned from 17 countries for fucking 5 years technically. So when that ban was up, I told Relapse, yeah, I'll be able to go to Europe. I should have been able to go to Europe, but through all the technical shit, I couldn't, and that could have been a contributing factor to that. I don't think we sold enough records.
Right. Okay. And why was you banned again? It's cool. I'm not sorry. How did
I was banned.
Yeah.
Why or where?
Why did that come about? The ban?
Because the last St. Vitus tour I did, I got arrested in Norway with 11 grams of speed.
Oh shit. Yeah, they get the ump about that.
And Norway especially, yeah, they fucking they deported me.
Oh God.
Now, that's a whole other story, man. With these like young kid cops, plainclothes cops who watch me, it's like there's some funny stories. I mean,
That's one for the book, man. But you must have some amazing tour stories. Let's hear your best one. Let's hear your best one.
I'll tell you one that's England related.
Yeah.
I love it.
For the first St. Vitus tour we did, we Cathedral was supporting us, and nobody really knew who Cathedral was. They did get signed to Columbia though with us, a little bit later. But here they are, like nobody. They're still, it's Dorian, Gaz. They had another guitar player and some other cats, right? So St. Vitus. So we come over there, and there's nobody at the English shows. There's nobody at the English shows, and we don't see any posters. And we're like, who's paying us tonight? Well, there's one promoter doing all these shows, right? Like 4 English shows or whatever. We played, we played fucking London. We played their hometown, which is Coventry. And we played, I think we played Birmingham, maybe Leeds. Like, but there's nobody in the shows, no posters anywhere. And the promoter was not turning up to pay us. Nobody's paying us. So finally, everybody's like, the Cathedral dude's like, he's going to be at the last show. He's going to be at the last English show. So he shows up and he owes us all this money. And I'm like, dude, where's our money? And he goes, oh, well, I've got, maybe I could write you a check. I have to, back at my house. I was like, no. So we grabbed the promoter. We threw him in our van, right? We drive him to his house. So we get to his fucking house, and he's got this little yippy dog, and all this bullshit. I'm just like, write us a check, Like everybody else is kind of like staying in the van, like it's my job tonight. It's my job tonight to be the enforcer, right? I go into his pad, and I just start, he's like upstairs arguing. I didn't think he had the money. As a matter of fact, I knew he didn't have the money, and he was trying to bullshit me. But I could hear his wife were having a big hushed conference, about what they're going to do. Meanwhile, I was going through his house, looking through his medicine cabinets, see if he had any fucking drugs. And I go walk in the basement, and there's the whole roll of posters that he got mailed months ahead of time that he's supposed to be putting up. The entire roll, uneopened, of our posters in his basement.
Oh, lazy fucker.
Then him and his wife came down, and he's like, there's some shit was said, and then she said something to me. And then he was trying to not pay us. I just fucking clocked his ass. And then fucking his wife was, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure. I usually don't hit women, but I might have clocked her too. I don't remember. But anyways, I broke my ring.
Blacked out then.
I broke my favorite ring on this dude's head, And it pissed me off. Finally, they came up with the check, and off we went, Okay.
It didn't bounce, did it? You actually get that? Did that check cash?
It was actually okay. Like his wife handed it to me, So, but he fucked up. He would have made money. I mean, I don't know if he's a promoter. He would have made money if he would have put the posters up or whatever. But he didn't. So okay. So, anyways, long story short, I know that dude now. He's cool. He went from like being real green and doing that kind of shit to like, top ranked sound guy. So that's cool. So he's cool. So we're cool. So the other story is when we were playing same tour in Coventry. We were staying in Coventry, right, with Griff, the bass player, Griff, right? And so we're Vitus, all these dudes were all laying on their floor in sleeping bags, right? So you had to go outside the apartment and put coins in the fucking heater to keep the heat on in the house, right? Right? So that's what all night long, the heat around out stopped. We hear everybody like mumble and groan, So we drank Newcastle brown ale until we were fucking blue in the face.
Nuki Brown.
You can't beat it.
In the middle of the night, I wake up. I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna puke. But I mean, there's all these a sea of like people, and like I didn't think I could make it. I didn't think I could walk across everybody without, puking on somebody or something. So I said, fuck it. So I just rolled over, and I had my engineer boots, that I was wearing on tour, one pair of shoes, engineer boots. I just rolled over and I puked in my boot. I don't know what I have to do. So the morning I wake up, we all wake up, and there's Chandler, and I said, man, I couldn't get it. I couldn't even stand. I just rolled over and puked in my boot. And Chandler goes, "I'll give you £5 if you put it on and wear it all day." So I did.
No. Oh, good Lord. That must have been really quite unpleasant. Was it worth a fiver?
Man, those days were those days, man. It's like I didn't give
Yeah. Got the fiver. Pukey boot.
punk rock points is what we call that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Punk rock points.
Oh, that's so cool. I
I
love
remember once I had to throw up and I was in a car and I was spinning out and I just did that, and puke inside your t-shirt all down your chest. You puke inside your t-shirt all down your chest and then just let the fucking t-shirt hit the chest and just wait till you get home, don't you?
Yeah, that's polite. So you're being polite, That's very polite. You don't want to do that in somebody else's car. You don't want to turn blue in somebody else's bathroom,
I was going,
polite.
stop. And they were like, you're all right. I was like, I'm fucking not.
That's great. That's real. Yeah, I like that.
So listen, man, I'm only going to ask you this just quickly because I've spent a lot of today listening to him. But you did a couple of things with Clutch, right? Did you know him back from Maryland?
Yeah, I did.
Was it Brazen Head, the song or something?
Yeah. At 94, 95, everything was over. The church was in. Label fell asleep on the church in. Yeah. And so at that point in time, everything just kind of fell apart for me. I kind of ran wild. I decided I'm going to move back to Maryland. So I didn't have anything, man. I had like this little bag, pair of shorts. I had a few things in this bag. Moved back to Maryland. Took a bus back to Maryland. When I got there, I was pretty disheartened, And but Dave Sherman kept calling me, Gary. They were like, "Come on, let's jam." And we know Clutch, we know the Clutch guys, and let's go out to their place and jam, And so those guys were real encouraging. So we went out to Clutch had a compound out in West Virginia, right over the Maryland border. And we went out there and they had this beautiful place where you could play, all the gear set up, big room, and we would play. And I remember that I started working delivering backline. And at one point in time, I took a Leslie rotating speaker out to them because they were doing their recording there. So that was cool. Got to know them pretty good. And then, me and John Paul got to conspire a little bit. And we'd always wanted to jam, the drummer. And so I asked him if he would play drums on my first electric solo record, Punctuated Equilibrium. So he did. And that was fantastic, man. It was great. And then, we took that on tour a little bit. John Blank, our original bass player, died. But we took it on the road with Brian White. And then, and then me and John Paul, then they asked me, periodically they would ask me to do stuff. Like I played 2 leads on Pure Rock Fury. I played on Red Horse Rainbow and I played on Brazen Head.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've got that CD.
Yeah, and both those songs are phenomenal songs. And I think that it's cool. It was really nice. It was really cool. I take it real seriously, man. It's like I wanted, I didn't even smoke any weed with those guys. I just wanted to just lay a couple good solos down. Yeah.
What are they like? Do they have a laugh? Are they like really sort of professional
super chill
kind of?
dude. I mean, same lineup since fucking junior high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Super nice guys. In family now, guitar player married the drummer's sister, and the women I think they run the merchandise business. And without having a hit on the radio, I will say they're extremely successful.
Yeah, I mean they never ever stop touring, do they?
Right.
I wouldn't have saw them. Well, I think it was the start of this year, but I mean they're just so good live as well.
They're great live, and that's the thing that they have such a loyal following. People just buy their merchandise. I mean, that's how they make a living. I mean, they sell so much fucking merchandise. It's like at the end of the tour, every dude in the band will be counting money. But that's cool. They've really done good. They're total serious, sincere guys about the music. John Paul is a real fucking seriously good drummer.
Oh, gotcha.
He's so disciplined, and he always challenges himself. Like he'll get up at 6 a.m. If he gets up at 6 a.m., he'll play drums first thing, but he'll play in 6.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll get up at 7 and he'll play in 7. And he's like got a really good command of that shit. And jazz.
It's like that swing thing. He's got that kind of swing, isn't he?
He does,
Amazing.
and that's kind of like, I guess that's kind of like, DC area, East Coast area is kind of known for that, like that kind of like not hip hop, but what do they call that? DC had it, so Chuck Brown had his own genre, not hip hop, but it was but that kind of swinging kind of
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that was a lot of fun, and, periodically, whenever we cross paths at like big places like Hellfest, sometimes in those days they would ask me to come out and play Red Horse Rainbow or whatever it might be. That's always a lot of fun. And then I supported them playing acoustic guitar when John Blank died. We were supposed to tour with them. So when he died, John Paul calls me up and said, "Look, let's not lose the momentum from the record. Why don't you get on the bus with us? You'll have to pay $50 a week out of your guarantee for the bus, $50 a week for the bus, and then you can play acoustic guitar and support us." And I was like, whoa. That was the first time I ever did anything like that. And, they come from a punk rock background, and I'd seen some of their early shows. And I was like, wow, man, should I put a bulletproof vest on my rider playing acoustic, But it turned out it was really, really good. And, I was making $500 a night or $450, every night, and $50 off the bus. I mean, I was fucking rolling the dough, but it was, it was sad because, our bass player died. So that was hard, But it was cool. It was pretty fun, man. Playing acoustic for Sport Clutch and all these nice
supporting
places.
Clutch. I mean,
yeah,
it's rad, isn't it?
It was pretty rad. But it was also pretty daunting, because I'd never done that before, and they're playing like huge fun crowds.
Yeah.
You might not necessarily like acoustic, I don't know.
How did you go down? I'm sure you went down amazingly.
It went down good. It went down better than when I supported Zach Wild playing acoustic. That was hard. That was really hard.
Was that on a Book of Shadows tour or something?
What?
Was it on the Book of Shadows tour or something like that? Was he playing acoustic?
Unblacked, no, but my
Unblackened.
agent thought they were, and so he pitched me on the bill at really low. I think I was making 500%. I was probably the lowest one, so they took me, but they weren't playing acoustic. They were just playing. Zach was kind of sick at that time, so he couldn't really stand up. So he would play sitting down. They did a lot of their songs reworked. But it was electric, and it was fucking hard. The saving grace of that whole tour I did in a car. Me and my girl, we did it in a car. Like, we drove up to the venue like in this little car with all my shit in this little car, coast to coast, and then the dudes guarding the bus be looking at us like, what? Have this little car, but it was cool. But then, saving grace is their bass player is so fucking cool that he said, "Man, let's invite me up on stage with you and let's play some blues." So I started doing that, and that was always really cool. I forget his name. He's a really nice guy. And so that kind of broke the ice a little bit. So then me and him would jam. Because, it was playing to like 1,000 stony-faced Zach Wild fans in like New Jersey or place like that. That was tough.
Mate, I've seen Black Label so many times, and the crowd is always so tame to what I'd imagine them to be.
Yeah.
Because, they all wear the colours and they've got this kind of biker image, but they all seem so tame. I've never seen a lively Black Label crowd. And for
Weird,
me,
right?
His music should be jumped up and down to, right? I mean, there's a lot of riffs going on, and it's great music, energetic.
And I think a majority of those dudes are probably guitar players, though, because you can't deny the fact that motherfucker is a monster guitar player.
Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal guitar player. And so is the guy that plays, so is Dario.
Yeah.
The guy the second guitar player, the guy is just as good, man. I swear.
Dario's phenomenal. Well, they double up a lot of solos at the same time, don't they? And that's insane to watch.
It's insane to watch.
How can you do that note for note? Like,
I mean, right? So those guys, those guys are beyond. I mean, really beyond. I mean, I really enjoyed that. I mean, the trip of Zach Wild is like the way he sets up his meet and greets. It's like basically the crowd lines up. They pay a little bit extra. They're going to get their patch, right? So they line up. He's got these flags set up. And when you come in, he's got like basically a throne. Basically, he's sitting there like sitting there in a throne, basically surrounded by flags. Their colors and all kinds of regalia. And the kid, he comes in, he walks through the column flags, goes up to our Lord Zach, and he's presented with whatever he's buying. Whether it's a handshake he's paid for, or maybe he's getting his patch, maybe he's getting his colors. I don't know. But me, I couldn't watch. I could never watch that. That freaked me out, man, a little bit.
Was he wearing the Viking helmet, all that kind of stuff?
I can't remember if he did that during the meet and greets or not, but he was a character. He was a character. The first thing he did the very first day of the tour was knocks on my dressing room door. I hadn't met him yet. I mean, I met him before in passing, but I didn't really know him. Knocks on my door. I opened the door and say, "Hey, what's going on?" He said, "Hey, man, this one, welcome aboard. I want to let you know that, if you need anything, my guys will help you out." I said, "Cool." And then he grabs me just suddenly grabs me and takes a selfie of us real quick. That freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah,
Big
but
old
I mean, all those guys like in the scene, they all, I don't want to, they fucking love you, right? You are loved by all these people.
man, and I've been lucky. I mean, really lucky and fortunate to have friends like that, and also have people. Well, I feel like blessed to be able to bring what I bring out. And people treat me with a lot of respect, and man, that goes a long way. I mean, I treat people. You treat people like you want to be treated, man. If you treat the sound man like an asshole, you're not going to get a good mix. You know what I mean? And you get if you're an asshole on your way up, you get kicked twice as hard on your way down.
Yeah. Oh, completely. That's a great.
When you see the clips of you on the documentary shredding it, and there's so many great clips, so many great moments in so many of the great songs. I mean, you're mixing it up there with the best, aren't you, Wino? So credit where credit's due. We're not here to obviously kiss ass, but
No.
if they come to see Zach Wild, they've got fucking Wino at the same time. They're privileged, didn't they?
Oh, 100%.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Can we ask you a crazy question that we always ask everyone? It's nothing to do with regular sort of interview questions, but we always ask every guest if they're going to submit one song to outer space for any other life form to hear. Only one song that the human race ever produced, or it could be one of your own works or a favorite rock and roll track or whatever. Just
something that just sums up.
Just something you want to send up there. One track.
I have to go with an English band.
Yeah,
and it's going to be Humble Pie, and it's going to be fucking. I don't need no doctor.
Nice.
Sending
Humble
it up there.
That's the first time we've had Humble Pie.
Yeah,
I like that.
I love it.
Steve Marriott, man. Steve Marriott, even Keith Richards said the same thing. Steve Marriott is one of the best voices in rock. Absolutely. As was David Byron, Uriah Heep too. But yeah, I'd have to say Humble Pie.
And they're gonna love that.
It's a great answer.
Right on. I know there's a Rockin' the Fillmore, or like it's called Performance. Rockin' the Fillmore. That record was Frampton on second guitar, Marriott, Frampton, the classic Humble Pie lineup. I mean, that record it's in my top three for sure. Like that record, top three. Blues for Cold Cheering Invitation, that's in there. Hendrix, maybe the Cry Love or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, but definitely Humble Pie, Rockin' the Fillmore, and fucking Blues to Colt, Tyranny Mutation. I might maybe Raz and Naz, but I don't know, man. It's hard, it's hard.
It is hard because I mean, there's like my top 10 albums change daily because.
Right.
Because you like different genres, all that kind of stuff, and it's so hard, isn't it? Someone says, "What's your top 3 albums?" and I wouldn't be able to pick each day; it just changes. So,
yeah,
I don't know if you're the same, but it's hard, isn't it?
It would get harder if you said the rest won't exist anymore. Even in the future, when all vinyls lost, all CDs are lost, and all is left is files, and someone deletes the files, there might only be a few things left. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I have thought about that. I always think about like what is it? The time capsules, right?
Yeah.
Put in a fucking couple records, throw in something weird, from your day, and then that goes somewhere, probably being buried or sent out into space. Some motherfucker coming along, digging, and a bunch of years later. Well, it really probably will be it, because I don't think that the planet is going to be able to sustain material shit. I think it's going to lava out at some point. It's going to have to puke.
Yeah.
Of course, you get struck by an asteroid, which I think is another thing that's possibly coming. I mean, they talk about that in Babylonian Stella. They talk about the Nibiru and people, all that. I mean, I believe in a lot of that stuff, but for another.
It's kind of weird the way that's never happened. Like, I mean, how comes we only ever get tiny little rocks come through, and why have we never been hit by a massive chunk since I've been alive?
Well, I
Right.
mean,
Why,
yeah,
why
does
isn't
get-
it?
yeah,
Why
it
isn't
does
it?
get
I
hit.
think
Yeah, I
it's
know it
because
gets hits, and I know they get burned up. I'm not being stupid, but
it's a long cycle. It's a really long cycle. Like at one point in the cycle, our Earth was struck, and a piece broke off, and that's what became the Milky Way, the debris field, as I understand it. But the same planet, supposedly, is coming back around. It's like a really long orbit, but it's a reverse orbit. But some people say that that's not a planet. That's actually, the craft and the whole myth of the deluge and all that. Like, what about this concept of before the moon? Because there's like written documents of people have done, like Greek philosophers before the moon. That's an interesting concept.
Mm.
before the moon. What is the concept then of that? Just remind me.
People were like alive and actually writing about it. Greek philosophers, Stoic dudes or whatever you call them from the day. That's how we know before the moon. Like,
Right.
so I don't know I think that needs to be investigated. I need to dig in a little bit on that.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting.
That's a good album cover, album title,
Right.
though, isn't it? You've
Great
had
name.
Dark Side of the Moon. Let's just go before the moon.
The whole concept was amazing. It's like
Before the
you got
moon.
your tides. You got your fucking werewolves. You got your menstrual cycles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Like you
There's,
say, the tides and everything. It's all it's all linked, isn't it?
There's a
Yeah.
planet. Is it Planet X? You can only see in certain
it's Planet
places in
X.
certain light, but no one knows it's there. But you can actually see it if you catch it in the right light at the right time. Is that right, Wino?
I've never heard of
That's
that.
correct. It also
Planet
depends
X.
on, that depends on what hemisphere you're in, but it is definitely getting closer. Like in the States, okay, about sundown every night, the chemtrail planes, the little planes that not condensation, they spew shit out like they go towards the setting sun. So every night or every evening, when the sun starts to set in America, the chemtrail planes obscure intentionally that whole area, because you got to figure where you are on Earth, you do have a limited view. Like at some point in time, something could be high up enough to where it could block out a planet, really, if it's big enough, right? So they're trying to obscure something. And I think what it is sooner than later we should be able to see Planet X, starting to brim out behind the sun. And in some hemispheres you can't see it. People have photographed it. So according to the Hopi prophecies, when they saw the blue Kachina, we had 7 years before we get hit by that. They call that the purifier. And it's in a lot of Native American myths talk about the chances we've had and squandered. And so now, the purifier is coming in. Like, so that was like a year ago. They saw the blue Kachina. A Hopi friend of mine called me the day after, and he said, "Okay, I was at the drumming. I was at the fire with the elders. We saw the blue Kachina, which is a certain star. Because that means we have 7 years until purifier comes. But in that 7 years, we're going to start to see all kinds of weird shit like we are right now, like strange weather patterns that are happening in, like, flooding in Arabia, flooding in, the Sahara, shit like that. The Euphrates River has dried up. That's really heavy because that's biblical shit right there. So all this weird anomalies are happening. More UFOs are being seen. Weird creatures are being seen. That's exactly what the prophecy says, that dimensions are going to fold into one another as this planet gets closer. It's going to create a lot of mischief. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. We're seeing that all over the world.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to it.
Is that? Did you say it's a Native American like prophecy?
Yeah, good. You can, if you find a video on YouTube, it's called the Hopi prophecy of the blue Kachina.
Right.
Yeah, it made me, watching that made me feel a lot better. Made me feel a lot more calm about everything that's happening, because the world's going to hell in a handbasket right now.
Yeah. It is crazy, isn't it? It's crazy out there, man.
People are acting more crazy than ever. Like, people just do what they fucking want now to anyone. Like, it's just.
Dude, in the States, there's some parts of the United States where basically crime is legal. Not technically, but crime is legal. The police are powerless. They just loot, fucking rape, open air drug shit. Like, there's this new drug, the fentanyl mixed with this other shit, so it just freezes people in midair.
I've seen that. The
And they were
clips
like-
down to Philadelphia. The clips of
Yeah,
the people they're like zombies, mate, all bent
They're just
over
fucking-
and
Bent over, just like
They're
frozen
fucked.
there, right?
yeah.
They're mixing fentanyl with some kind of how out of it do you want to get? Fentanyl will get you so out of it as it is. I mean, now they want to mix this crazy.
Is it called spice or something when it's mixed together? Don't
It's
know.
like they call it
That-
trank.
They're a trank,
trank.
yeah. They're half dressed,
Right.
aren't they? They're all half dressed, half bent over, just skinny. They're just fuck, and they
Yeah.
get really bad injuries where they've been bent in these weird positions for so long.
Crazy.
I mean, you got to feel sorry for them, but they are literally. It's like watching like zombies, like
Check it out.
like
This
Shaun
is
of the
all-
Dead. Like fucking,
so
you know,
true. And this is all part of the fact that the United States, the United States is not a republic, not a federation, not a fucking democracy. The United States is a foreign-owned corporation. Foreign-owned corporation. There's more than one constitution because you have United States Incorporated, Inc., the corporation. Then you have the United States as the sovereign state. Okay, but so now you have these two entities. The corporate entity rules. The United States is still under British maritime law. That's like why you see the gold fringe around the flag. That's like why everything has to do with the water. The berth, the vessel, the fucking docket of the court. That kind of shit. And liberty. Liberty does not mean freedom. You know what I mean? Liberty is like when you are able to go ashore on another foreign country. You're allowed to do that. That's liberty. Like, it's not freedom. So a lot of people don't really understand the mechanisms of the law as it's written in the Constitution of America and the real law, which is these motherfuckers like usurping as in the form of a corporation, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. The Federal Reserve is not federal. The Federal Reserve is completely private. They tell the mint how much money to mint, and then they sell it back to the fucking government with interest. It's the biggest and most prolific and biggest scam ever. All the bankers met, Jekyll Island, and they planned it out, the whole Federal Reserve thing. Britain being a pretty relatively small island, still has a monarchy, as does Holland and Belgium. Now, that's why Britain is super powerful. Britain, basically, you get Britain, the Vatican, and these Bilderberger groups and the Committees of 300, part of the black nobility of the Italian line. They run the world. The fucking presidents are just puppets.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
During the COVID pandemic over here, the people running this country here were just pathetic, pathetic. Like they just were just lying, pathetic creatures.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't believe a fucking word they say now. Not one thing.
It's unreal. That's all I do is like. It's like the dude who was like the English guy who was in office. He was the guy responsible for promoting the vaccine. Like he's the health guy or whatever. And like he was like from like trying to tie it into like football slogans, all that shit. Right. Well, that dude just went to work for Moderna.
There you go.
That's crazy.
Now he's working for Moderna.
God.
Crazy, right?
That's some crazy shit.
It's crazy shit. I mean, it's like, all the corners. See, they've got the media is completely locked off over here. The media is locked down. Nothing gets through the media that's not the narrative. Nothing. I mean, even Fox News and CNN are both owned by the same person. Rupert Murdoch and his family, like they own both. It's just BlackRock owns, everything too. So it's like you think you have two competing entities. Oh, good. There's still healthy business competition left. No. Pepsi and Coke, no, they're all owned by BlackRock. Everything owned by BlackRock. Everything.
Wow.
So you got to figure, they're setting the prices, they're manipulating the fucking, the stocks, they're manipulating the gas, all that type of shit. I mean, so much of what we see, is theater.
Yeah, but it's embarrassing now because they're not very good at it anymore, are they?
No,
they're just
being embarrassed.
They're kind of not even trying anymore. It's almost like okay, we'll just do whatever we want to you and just kind of laugh about it.
And my eyes roll when I take it a little bit farther, but I think that it's because that the reason that some of these people, or if you want to call them people, don't have any compassion. They're not really trying to help their countrymen.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of getting at. Yeah, because no compassion is there. You just know they don't care. You know they don't care.
I think that's because their bloodline. I think that their bloodline, partially from another race of beings, that is completely compassionless and really feeds on misery and fear. I think that that bloodline has filtered down and spread because they're all fucking related. All of them are related. Like Bush is related to fucking, the fucking Windsors. The Windsors are related to the fucking, the Sinclair, all the way back to fucking like Vlad the Impaler over here and Sinclair over here. You know what I mean? They're all fucking related. And it's like, it's a bloodline. It's given us every war that we've ever fucking had.
Yeah.
Bloodlines that are doing all this shit. Like there's, basically the bloodlines said, when the Balfour British, when they gave Palestine to the Zionists before the war, right? It didn't happen after the Holocaust. They'd already given it because they knew the Holocaust was going to happen. Just like when Lemmy told me, he said, Lemmy was the first person to tell me, like, Churchill and Roosevelt both knew the Japanese were on their way to bomb Pearl Harbor, but they let it happen. And they both went on little vacations because they needed that to happen so they could get in the war.
Yeah.
So everybody could make money selling armament to both sides, and it hasn't stopped.
No, that's crazy.
Lemmy told you that, yeah?
Yeah, Lemmy told me that. First person to tell me that.
He was a character, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, man! What a great guy.
Did you meet him a few times? You got many Lemmy stories?
This particular time, I met him in this little sleazy fucking strip joint on Hollywood Boulevard called Jumbo's Clown Room.
What a name.
So he was wearing, went in there, it's tiny at the bar, getting the beer, and there he was wearing a Prussian officer's military uniform, complete with like the epaulets, the fucking hat. I mean, he didn't have the fucking spiked hat, but it's Russian officer, complete, like from the day, like Prussian, like from the Prusso-Hungarian days, like
he's just out in a strip club wearing it.
Wearing that shit, wearing the jacket, like that's what he told me. We started talking, and that's when we got into some philosophical shit, and then he told me about he just got the book on the Pearl Harbor thing, And that's like, actually, that right there, that meeting right there with him, and a few other things that happened to me right around the same time is really what kind of jump started my whole thing with, just not believing the thing the government says at that point. Like, why are they lying about this? What, they're publishing this, but it's wrong, and yeah. Then I started getting really deep. Then I started getting into like, some of these really great British archaeological or anthropology, like Fingerprint of the Gods, where the guy proved that the Sphinx was way older than the books say, and they did that by hiring a geologist, and they analyzed the Sphinx. They could tell by the stone that it was once in a tropical climate. So basically, it was I'm trying to remember his name now. English guy, great guy. I bought a bunch of his books, but there's always been some really great English, investigative authors that have really opened up a lot of doors for me. Like, really, really good shit.
Yeah. Do you read a lot? Do you like reading?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't like to read fiction that much. Occasionally I'll read fiction. Like I like underground comic books, like from the '60s. Like S. Clay Wilson or Robert Williams type shit. Robert Crumb. But yeah, I like to read biographies and stuff.
Yeah. I know you're writing one.
Yeah, I'm writing one. It's
you love
true.
A biography.
I
this
do.
Man loves a biography. God,
my bookshelf is like
is
all music biographies. I love them. I love them.
What I just got Ian Hunter's book, Rockstar, from way back in the Mount Hoople days. I thought it was going to be all debauchery and shit. None of those dudes even partied. All they did was go around to pawn shops in the United States and buy Les Paul Juniors for dirt cheap, take them back to England, man. It's fucking great. It's like I never knew that. I was expecting this whole lifestyle Mott the Hoople, but those dudes didn't even really party or drinking nothing. But they would go out to these pawn shops in America and just scour for cool guitarists. That's
Yeah,
badass.
man. Les
That
Paul
book's
Juniors
cool.
are cheap, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, Up and Down with the Rolling Stones is probably the best rock and roll lifestyle book I've ever read.
Oh,
Up and
I've
Down
never
with-
read that, so I'm gonna have to check that out now. You've said
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Tony Sanchez, written by Tony Sanchez. He was the guy that would get their drugs for him. So he
Okay.
toured with them. Yeah. Dude, that book is off the hook.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
It was
have
in
to read
detail
that.
about Brian Jones' death, because it's a really heavy. It's just really heavy. It covers Altamont, the whole fucking 70s all the way up to like when they were when Keith got his pad ripped off in France. Dealing with the French connection, the Marseille mafia. French dudes were bringing him pure heroin to his villa in France because they had to escape the taxes in England. And then when they came back up tour, the dudes had cleaned up the whole pad, robbed them blind. They went over there, sold some heroin, and when they went on tour, they went back and robbed the whole house. Crazy.
Fuckers.
It's a good book, really good book, man.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Awesome, mate.
I'll definitely check that out. I like Slash's autobiography. That was really good as well. That was.
Yeah,
I mean, you
read
can
that.
imagine that's quite. There's some tales in that.
Yeah, I need to get that. Sure.
It's a really good book. It's well written. But
Yeah, who else? Marky Ramone's book is good
right.
because he used to be in that band Dust,
Hmm.
which is badass. I mean, they were like fucking weird, cool, seminal, like, underground. That's cool. I like that. I like, I really like the Dolls a lot. Like, you had Motley Hoople from England, and you had the Dolls, and those are the two like seminal glam bands,
Yeah.
started it going. I think Motley Hoople might have even been before the Dolls, maybe, possibly. Well, you all had T-Rex too. Can't forget about old T-Rex.
No, of course
Yeah.
not. Of course not. Do you listen to a lot of newer music today, like like newer bands?
I do sometimes. I mean, whenever I'm asked that question, I find it hard to bring up the ones I like. I do like some stuff. I listen to Clutch.
Yeah.
I listen to like, I still like, King Crimson, Fripp stuff, some Prague. What else would I like these days? There's a lot of great heavy bands, like stoner bands, like, Heavy Temple, or just bands in that genre that I like. Yeah. I mean, it's got to grab, it's got to grab me, man. It's really got to reach out and grab me. Not much stuff does, but when it does, I'm loyal. I'll dig it.
Yeah. Check out Green Lung. I think you'd like them.
Green Lung.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They got
Cool.
a new album out, but I think you'd quite like them. They're from, no, I don't know where they're from actually, but check them out. Sure.
Okay, I will. Cool.
I'll have to check them out as well.
Yeah. Who else? What other? Who else? What other good new bands?
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
What you
It's a
got?
hard country,
You're
right?
putting him on the spot, and he's putting you on the spot.
But see, the thing is, I can never answer that question either. Like, it's a draw blank,
Yeah. No, I mean, Green Lung come to my mind straight away because I saw them supporting Clutch,
Okay.
and they were incredible. They've got kind of like, I don't know. There's almost. I mean, it's obviously very heavy stoner kind of rock, but there's almost like folk elements in it as well. It's kind of hard to explain, but I definitely think you'd dig them. I'll send you a link.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That sounds great. I see that acoustic guitar back there. What's that?
Oh, that's my bass players. It's an acoustic bass.
Cool.
I don't know what it is, but a few of my Les Pauls back there. But yeah,
Cool. Les Paul, man. It's way to go.
yeah, man. You gotta love a Les Paul, wouldn't you?
I've got a couple of them. I mean, I've got a 1980 custom, and I've got a 90s studio, and I've got an EGC Les Paul shape guitar, the aluminum one, and I've got I have a bunch of like cheaper guitars. Like, I've got a K Speed Demon, I've got like an Italian Juliet, crazy ass thing, and and I've got my
What's your kind of go-to studio guitar? Like, what did you mostly record like the new album with?
electric, my Les Paul custom. But
Nice.
I also have a really cool Strat. It's not a stock Strat. It's like it's an old Strat body, from the day, I think from like 60s. Then it's got like an aftermarket neck on it, strat neck, but it's real slutty neck, man. Like I don't give a fuck what, it just feels so good. And then I put three when not Bill Lawrence, but when God, man, the main pickup company, Seymour Duncan. When Duncan came out with these single, they look like single coils, but they're deeper. So it's like a humbucker in a single coil style. They had double blades on each one. They came as a 3-piece, like in the middle one was red. They're hotter than fuck. The hot rails, I think they're called. So I put that on the Strat, and then I put a 5-position switch on there. And that guitar is pretty much. I use that guitar a lot on that record too. I mean, I play it live. I mean, people are surprised, but I mean, you can get a lot of low end out of that guitar. You know, it's not stock electronics, is what it is, and an real old resonant wood, like old body wood. You know, no primer. It's like it had one thin layer of like nitrocellulose and then this black nitrocellulose and that chips off of just the bare wood. You know, I think that's like guitar is really breathing. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh, it sounds amazing. What about what do you play through?
I play through I'm a big fan of like 70s Sun Model Ts, but now what I'm using is I'm being endorsed by a guy named Andy, whose company is called Solar. And basically what it is, it's a clone of a combination of a Marshall JMP preamp section with a Model T. So it's got 46550s, which are pretty beefy tubes. You know, I mean, English amps traditionally use EL34s, which are cool, but the American amps like the SVT and some of the big Fenders and the Sun, they use the big either KT88s or 6550 tubes. So it's a beast, man. You know, it's a fucking beast. It's like 200 watts, but he's got a little bit more gain on there for me. So I use those, and I also use I use a Marshall JMP that he's got in the studio. I think it's maybe a late 60s or 70s something. So that's like a 100-watt head with a master volume preamp.
Yeah,
we use those. I like those. I mean, they all sound different. Marshalls all sound different.
Yeah, I mean, I've got mine's
50 watts as a rule. It seems to me like you get a good 50 watt from the day.
Yeah,
like a 70s 50 watt JMP. That chances are it's probably going to sound pretty good, I would imagine.
Yeah, mine's a JCM 2000, but when I bought it, they've become something that like a lot of like amp collectors want now. You know, they can go for a lot more money than what I paid for it. But I mean, I'd never sell it
because with the JCM 2000, the little deep button.
Yeah,
it says deep, and you're pressing that button to get the low end. Yeah, that's when I couldn't get anything.
That always stays pushed in.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what makes that amp sound so good. I think kicks in that automatic low end EQ or whatever. I used to use those amps when I couldn't get anything else. Like we'd fly into cities, with Shrine Builder, we'd fly into every city, so we'd use rental gear every night. And so I'd always ask for either they never would have a Model T, and I didn't really like playing through oranges, so I would ask for a JCM 2000. I'd have that little button. That would work.
They're good amps, man. They're good amps.
I agree.
It's
interesting how England became the amp standard for the world, and America became the guitar. Basically, you had Gibson and Fender, then you have Marshall and Orange, and all the offshoots of Mad Amp and all the cool British amps.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of guitarists now are obviously like using the modelers and stuff, but they're not even using amps anymore, right? Like, I mean, Metallica don't even use amps live. It's it's crazy, like, but easy for them, I suppose.
In a way, you could potentially be more. I mean, these days, the technology is so great that you can't really tell the difference between an analog rig and a digital rig. You might go to a little bit, maybe, if it's really specialized. But like downstairs right now, Jason's got his Kemper, and he's got he's got his home studio, and he's got that loaded up with Soldano presets. So it's like we could go guitar right in quarter inch into his Kemper. That's all you need, man. Especially for acoustic, beautiful delays, and So we used that on the new record. We did like the record kind of rolls together. Occasionally it'll stop. Songs will stop for certain songs, but as a rule, it kind of like bleeds together. And like we used the Kemper. Jason did some really cool shit with the Kemper in between songs. Some deep pitching stuff and some kind of, yeah, you'll see. Yeah, I'll send you a copy record.
Please do. We're
Yeah.
very excited to hear it.
Send it over, man. You got his email. That'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah, you got just one thing I ask is you listen to it super fucking loud.
Oh, of course.
Also, put them on these. We'll put them on these speakers here.
And it doesn't leave the rent. It doesn't leave you. You know, it doesn't go anywhere to anybody else. And yeah,
No way.
of course not.
Never.
Of course
Never.
not. It would be a privilege to be able to be one of the few people who get to hear it before it's released.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, I know what we'll do is we'll wrap it up just because it's been going on ages, and I know you want to get on with your jam and your food and stuff.
Yeah,
and
Thanksgiving, man.
Thanks so much for coming on. It's
I
been
appreciate it.
great chat.
I apologize for the time before. It's just
Please don't. It's honestly, it's not a problem
It's
whatsoever.
no problem, mate. We just sat here and he taught me how to play cold gin, and
cool.
Because I asked him play cold gin.
Yeah.
It's so simple, mate.
So we had a laugh anyway, and
Just
it was
mucking around, learning how to
Cool.
play cold gin, weren't we?
yeah.
Right. Cool.
It was a couple of hours of not being told what to do, but at home by the women. So
Yeah. We just sat here,
bit of boy time.
guitaring.
Right. You gotta
All
do that
right, man.
more often. Gotta do that more often.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, what we
100%.
just do is start booking in fake podcasts so we can come down and learn some more Kiss.
That's
Cool.
it.
Right on.
All right,
Well,
brother.
guys, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming on.
see you later.
It's been an absolute
Thank you for
pleasure.
talking to you. All right.
Have
Take
a
it
great day.
You too.
Laters, man.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye, bye.